Okay, so here we are, we're about to head to the Needles. We are 6.9 miles out. So I thought I'll switch on here, let people see the last part of the ride into the Needles here. We just parked on the side of the road, we've got a fair old bank ahead of us, as you can see. And I thought this would give people also a good idea of what it's like to ride one of these trikes with a 250 watt TongSheng TSDZ2 motor attached. We've just got a little bit of rain coming in right now, which I hope is gonna dissipate pretty soon, because I don't really feel like getting soaked halfway. But 6.9 miles, about 17 minutes according to this. Might take a little bit longer because I'm not sure if that's calculating on road speed. So what we're going to do, we're just going to throttle a little bit here, and the throttle will just take us out of there and just give us a little bit of speed there, so we don't have to put too much pressure on our poor ailing legs as we head out onto the road. What I find that throttle useful for is exactly that. It's getting out, you know, straight out from a junction, or if you're starting up a hill like we're doing now, it just gets you up to, you know, 7, 8, 9 miles an hour, and then you can start pedaling and it's not too much of a strain. But as you can see, now we're on max assist, we're doing 11.3 miles an hour up here. It's really no great pressure, you know, on my legs. I'm not struggling up the hill or anything. We're in, what are we in? Looks like we're in 7th gear, and we're on the 52T cog. So we're going up a fairly decent incline here, good elevation, but we're still in 7th gear on the 52T cog or chain ring, and really not a struggle to get up this bank at all with the max assist on the TSDZ2. Just impressed with the amount of torque that you actually get from these little small motors. Anyone who's thinking about putting a motor on their trike, and especially if you're in the UK, where the law simply states that you're not allowed to put anything above a 250 watt, so 250 watt is the max you're allowed here in the UK. Over in on the continent, laws are slightly different, and in the US, of course, you can have 750 watt. But the fact of the matter is, you don't need 750 watt. You know, unless you're just putting a motor on with a throttle and you're not planning to pedal at all, there's really not a lot of point in having 750, because it'll be doing all the work for you and you're not getting any exercise. So that's kind of taking away the point of exercising on your trike. So I really don't want the motor doing everything for me. What I want is to get home after a good ride and know I've had a workout. I can feel it in my legs. I can feel that I've had a good cardio workout. But one of the things that really kind of kills the fun for a lot of people on a trike are the hills. Hills are no fun on a recumbent trike, because you haven't got the ability to put your body weight on top of the pedals and use it to press down. So the result is that you've got to exert all of the energy yourself from a seating position, and that simply means that you're going to be going very slowly up a hill. Now of course you can use the gears, you can change down, you can get down to first and second gear, but it means that you're doing 2-3 miles an hour up steep hills, so it takes you forever to get up them. Whereas when you've got the assist, you can just pump up the volume on that assist, and it flattens out that hill for you, gets you up. And not so much that it removes all the energy required to go up the hill, but more that it gets you up in a reasonable time frame. So you're going up that hill at 10 to 12 miles an hour instead of 2 to 3. And it means that when you're out on the trike, you can actually get somewhere. You know, instead of doing 5, 6, 7 miles on the trike around the Isle of Wight, which you probably would be, you know, without the e-assist, I can now do 25, 30, 40 miles and get out and see things and enjoy myself out here. And that to me is really what it's all about on an electric motor. It just gets you out. It takes away the grind out of triking. It means that it stays fun. And if it stays fun, you do it. One of the things you do find here on the Isle of Wight is quite a few of the motorists who were brought up here have never really ventured much on the mainland. I actually get people say that if they go on the mainland they get someone else to drive. As a result, you do get some dodgy drivers over here that are not quite sure whether it's a good idea to overtake a trike on a hill. Excuse me. So 4.9 miles out, heading down Alton Road. It's pretty straight most of the way along this road. Hoping that the mic is picking up my voice and that the GoPro is removing a lot of the wind here, but I've got no idea because this is the first time I've tested this mic. I do have some big fluffy thing on top of it which is supposed to help. It looks like I'm wearing a kitten on my collar at the moment. Well, there's a little hamster creeping out from under. I suspect that if anyone gets up close, they'll think I've taken my pet hamster with me. So here on the flats, you know, you just turn off the assist or put it down onto economy, which is 1 bar. It's barely using anything, it's giving you a tiny bit of assist. But once you're on the flats, you don't really need any kind of assist. Trikes are great on the flat and they're great downhill. they just suck uphill. So along the flat here, I'm in top gear in 9th, we're doing 23 miles an hour. And that's one of the things I like also with the E-assist. I mean, I'm only on economy here, but this 52 teeth chainring is really helping on the flat to get up a reasonable amount of speed. You know, in traffic, when you've got traffic behind you, they're not so stressed if you're doing 23, 25, 30 miles an hour. They don't mind staying behind you for a half a mile or so until they can get past. Whereas if you're doing 5 to 10 miles an hour, they're not so happy about staying behind you, obviously. So they tend to get a little bit stressed. Moving around in town is brilliant with the E-assist, because quite frankly, in town, a lot of it's flat. I can do 25, 30 most of the way around, so I'm actually keeping up with the traffic, because the speed limit in town, in any UK town of course, is 30 miles an hour. Often as you head around past schools and that, it'll go down to 20, sometimes 10. So on a recumbent trike with E-assist on it, you know, you're going to be keeping up with the traffic. So really not a problem for anyone. They don't need to stress around you or try and overtake you. They're quite happy to trundle along behind you. Unless the wife's having a baby or something, but alright, so we're just coming up to a junction. We can you recognise here that you're coming towards the Needles. Got to do a quick left and a quick right, pretty much straight over really. So here we'll come to this junction, and there you go, straight over there. We've got quite a bit of thorny bits on the road there. I could do without a puncture anytime soon. Lovely little back roads here on the Isle of Wight, and for me this really is what triking is all about. Getting out, getting in the back roads, just enjoying the scenery and getting a workout at the same time without actually killing myself and having a heart attack halfway around. For those of you who read the blog, you might be able to see on the camera there the KMC E9 EPT chain which I put on. It's been performing pretty well. Had a couple of little skips. I think I may need to use the alignment tool on the chain and just get it properly aligned, because I wasn't able to do that yesterday when I changed it. But it's performing a lot better than the old one, because the old one did have a few extra links that have been taken out and then inserted again, and it was causing quite a few skips. We've had 3 or 4 skips. You might be able to hear one of them a short while ago, but nothing too much. So here we're coming into Freshwater here. Freshwater's a nice little town, very popular with the tourists. Looks like there's some traffic up ahead here, and buses do go along this way. No, I'll have to just wait a second before we can get out. So we're just going to wait for this traffic. Hopefully this old guy finds out which one's the accelerator. There you go, mate. Okay, a little bit of throttle just to get us out. And we're currently in 7th gear. 7th gear seems a pretty comfortable gear to get up hills with, even with this 52T chainring. Of course, bear in mind that I'm on 20-inch wheels as opposed to 26 or 700s. But good bit of incline here, and we're still doing 12.5 miles an hour, 7th gear, 52T chainring. Really not a problem at all. And we're now 3.1 miles out from the Needles. Once we get to the Needles, we got a little quite a bank to get up. I want to get up onto a viewpoint that's up there, which is brilliant. It just looks right out over the Solent. Fantastic place just to sit. I got a nice flask of tea with me. It wouldn't be Britain, would it really, if you didn't have a flask of tea with you? So we're going to sit at the viewpoint overlooking the Solent. We're going to be very British about this, and we're going to have a nice cup of tea. And hopefully, if we've got a signal out there for the phone, so we can get a 4G signal, we're going to live stream into Trike. Trike is a two-part kind of club, if you like. We've got etrike.net, which is the blog, and on that blog I post quite a few articles whenever I upgrade the trike or do something to it, install the system like I did with this with the e-motor and the e-assist. I put articles and videos up on that blog, and it's really to help people out who were sitting in the same position as I was not so long ago, thinking I could do with e-assist on my trike